something important, then only I realized that you did. Thanks.
Okay. So let us, Nuli Garu, you want to continue with the chapter 9, sir?
Yes, sir. The illusoriness of action and the reality of the self. Sri Rama asked, O sage, you know all spiritual mysteries. Is this destiny, Daiva, real or unreal? Sri Vashista explained, self-effort alone is real. It is by self-effort that you possess this body. Destiny does not perform anything. It is imagined by the dull-witted. When one's self-effort has determined a course of movement, it is termed destiny by the unthinking mind. Just as one perceives blueness in the sky due to illusion, so one imagines destiny in the workings of one's self-effort due to ignorance.
Yeah. Comment?
Well, this is the same thing what we were discussing. You know, the destiny is a myth. There is nothing like a destiny. Only the dull-witted people ascribe the destiny.
Yeah. The karmas of yesterday is the destiny of today, and the karmas of today is the future for tomorrow. So, very nice. Dinesh, you want to read, sir? Next 3 paragraphs.
When a person asserts that he is led to good and evil actions by destiny, he is indulging in erroneous knowledge. It is his own self-effort of the past that asserts itself in all his inclinations and movements. By placing blame on destiny, he justifies his present lack of self-effort. Sri Rama asks, if the past karma becomes the destiny of the present embodiment, how is it possible to consider destiny non-existent? Shri Vashista replied, you must understand the true nature of things. They arise subtle desires, vasanas in the mind, due to the veil of ignorance, avidya. These vasanas convert themselves into physical and vocal actions. As one thinks, so he speaks and acts. So it's the continuation of the discussion that we are having. And I think the effort is must in any action, even to realize and even to study the scriptures. We have to have the effort. And my take on things is, if we stay on the course, eventually the change will come about, and whether it is a destiny or not, who cares? I cannot just sit here and hope that I will satisfy my hunger by not making any effort. That is just nonsense. We have to make an effort in order to make progress spiritually, physically, and emotionally.
Yeah.
Hariom.
Yeah. Beautiful. Very nice. So, okay. Karpagam, you want to read, Amma?
Is the nature of the vasanas, so is the type of activity that proceeds from an individual. Actions follow the vasanas of the mind. Destiny is nothing but the fruitification of one's own karmas. Karmas are nothing but subtle desires of the mind. These subtle desires are mere waves of the mind, and the mind is nothing but pure consciousness. When the illusions of desires is negated, therefore, the concept of destiny is illusory. Pure consciousness is the reality behind the mind. That consciousness is Purusha, the self. Therefore, self-effort, Purushartha, which is meant to reveal the nature of the self in man, is supremely powerful. There is nothing impossible for self-effort. May your self-effort be auspicious, O Ram.
Comment, Amma?
Well, the vasanas become, became karmas, and the karma became a subtle desire in the mind. And the subtle desires become nothing but pure consciousness. So when we forget that the pure consciousness, we act according to our mind. So we have to be conscious of pure consciousness, and the self-effort will come.
Yeah.
Effortlessly. That's the way it is.
Yeah. So it is the vasanas that cause the pure self, the Atman, to have vibration. So that's what that was said in page 126, which Dr. Noli brought up. It is the Samvit Spanda, that is the vasana leads to the consciousness to lead to Samvit Spanda, and that leads to Manaspanda. The mind starts thinking, projecting those vasanas, and that leads to Indriya Spanda, that then body takes into action. And so if you have the Sambit Spanda for God realization, then you will get the liberation. But if you have what we call desire for Artha and Kama, then you will enjoy the pleasures of the world. So there's nothing impossible for self-effort. So one has to put self-effort. So, and even the vasanas can be changed by self-effort. So very nice.
Yeah, one line, Raghuji, the self-effort mean to reveal the nature of the self in man, right? That one is...
Yeah, in this case, right. Yeah, in this case that we are talking about, in this context, yes, what Lord Rama wants is the for self-realization. Right. Very good. And Madhu Kukkala here today. No. And Mano Naidu, you want to read, Amma?
Sri Rama asked, if a person is led by the subtle desire of his past life, what can he be? What can he do but experience his dependence on the past karma? I am made to dance by my previous vasanas. How can I experience the freedom of myself? Sri Vashista explained, O Rama, you also develop the inclination towards spiritual movement on the basis of the vasanas that are operating at present. The mere presence of vasanas does not obstruct your spiritual movement. There are two types of vasanas, auspicious and inauspicious. If your previous vasanas are auspicious, you do not have to fight against them. You will be led by them towards the fulfillment of your self-effort in the form of liberation. Pretty much here, Sri Rama had the question of how can the I don't know what is wrong with my throat. I can't talk right.
Yeah, let me go ahead and say it. So you can see the vasanas are beautifully divided into auspicious and inauspicious. The inauspicious vasanas lead you to the material worldly pursuits, but The auspicious vasanas, that means for self-realization, one that takes you into self-effort along that line, and you get self-realized. So, so that's a beautiful answer to Rama's question. If the person is led by subtle desires of the past life, how can one do experience but experience depends on the past karma. But your own self-effort, now you can. So whatever the little satsanga that you have and Shravana Manana you have, and if you want to put them into action, that self-effort will definitely yield result. So
Raghuji, this is on the lines of Vidya Maya and Avidya Maya.
correct. Yeah. So you
Vidya
can,
Maya helps for the liberation, and Avidya Maya
right,
is abstraction.
right. So, but if when you say the word Maya, then you say, oh, it is nothing related to me. But that is completely
Wow.
mine. So Vidya Maya and Avidya Maya are my own past karmas. So
Raghuji, one question on this. Say, if your previous vasanas are auspicious, you do not have to fight against them.
right.
So if it is auspicious, that is why we, see that those are the people with their previous, karma. They get into this vasana, auspicious vasanas, and they just totally go into the spiritual. And this is, can we just consider that we are actually, our vasanas are not that auspicious? That's why we are actually trying to fight it out or to get into this worldly affair. Can we just put it in that bracket?
So exactly. So those without those beautiful auspicious vasanas, then we have to put more self effort. It might take longer. So,
Yeah.
but just like in our own college, an intelligent, very student will be able to read a book or listen to the teacher and pass the exam like 100%, like a straight A. But the same way, an average student who is not as good, by studying and studying and studying and spending more and more hours, he can also achieve the straight A. So only thing is he had to put more self effort. So,
Oh, okay. Good. That's a good example. Thank you, Raghuji. Thank you.
so Manoj, you want to read the next 3 paragraphs? You are muted.
Yeah. But if you are backed up by inauspicious vasanas, you must conquer them by the intensity of your present self-effort. You must overcome the negative tendencies of the mind by taking a recourse to good association and the study of scriptures. The river of vasanas flows either through the course of auspiciousness, leading one to the attainment of liberation, or through the course of inauspiciousness, leading one to the increasing illusions of the world precious. One may train his mind just as he would train a child, and discourage it from its movement through the course of inauspiciousness. When the mind moves along with the egoistic vision, generating attachments and desires, then this erroneous movement must be curbed again and again. So here you're talking about the, inauspicious vasanas. So what can you do? You can still conquer them. You have to do with your self-effort. It's not going to happen just by, from your karma in the past, but you can change it by your self-effort. And these negative tendencies you can do by, association with good people, holy people, or you study the scripture. So our vasanas can flow either way. You can go through the auspice and you get liberation. You go through inauspice and it lead to the illusions.
Yeah.
I mean, the mind is not, we cannot train, we can train. Just like a child you train, same way we can change our inauspiciousness. And we try to remove our ego type vision, attachment to things, desires. And this one doesn't happen just easy. You have to try again and again, but you can do it as long as you have a self effort. What do you?
Very nice. So the secret is again and again. So repeated effort. You fail, but don't give up. You fail, don't give up. You keep putting your effort. And then definitely Bhagavan's grace will be there. Maya, you want to read, Amma?
Hari Om. And having discouraged the mind from flowing towards the illusions of the world, one must allow it to flow towards the self through good association, study of scriptures, reflection, meditation, and samadhi. By repeated effort, Shubha vasanas, auspicious, subtle desires, can be intensified when you are backed up by Shubha vasanas. You move on the path of spiritual attainment with an increasing sense of spontaneity. Even when you are still confused regarding the efficiency of good action, you must continue to perform them, because even if there are no fruits from good actions, what harm is there? But if there are fruits in the form of the intensification of good vasanas, you will be led to self-realization. Stupendous is the attainment. So here again the same thing, repetition of, it says, discourage your mind to go towards the illusion instead of put your mind towards the self and keep doing your meditation and read good association, scriptures, reflection, meditation, and samadhi, and repeated efforts with can be intensified, means keep on doing more and more, then you'll be backed up with the Shubha vasanas.
Yeah.
And then, you can increase it. And when you are still confused, and then you still keep on doing it, no matter how much you're confused, it says that no harm is done by repeating or doing more and more, self
Right.
effort in it.
Right.
Hari Om.
Yeah. So whether you watch the television and the worldly news and worldly programs, or watch the television with all the spiritual programs, it's up to us. And so, if you continue to watch only the spiritual programs, naturally your mind gets purified, and that will be like a satsang, and direct you towards the spiritual path. So, I like that paragraph which says good association, study of the scriptures, reflection, meditation, and samadhi. So you will definitely achieve the goal one day or the other. So beautiful. Is Jhansi Amma here today? No. Okay. Nag, you want to read, sir?
Hari Om, sir.
Hari Om.
Even in worldly activities, repeated effort endows a person with an intensity of skill and mental concentration. This is applicable to all, whether a person is a child or an adult. Therefore, try again and again to promote good vasanas in your chitta, mind. One must continue to cultivate good vasanas until intuitional knowledge of self arises with the help of instruction from Guru, study of scriptures, and practice of meditation. Having realized the self, you will rise beyond the Subha vasanas as well. You will then abide in the absolute.
Yeah.
Raghuji, I'm still not 100% convinced about the destiny and self effort. Few years ago, I came to Chinmaya Mission. That is destiny. I could have gone somewhere else, but I ended up coming to Chinmaya Mission. That is my destiny. Having come there, I could have dropped my child in the classes and I could have taken a nap in the car or something, but I started attending Vedanta class. That is my self effort. So my self effort started because my destiny put me in Chinmaya Mission. If I didn't come there, I'm not going to attend Vedanta classes. I'm not going to make any little progress I have in Vedanta. So I think the destiny is the starting point that put me in Chinmaya Mission. But my self effort, because of my past good karma, put me in Vedanta classes instead of me sitting in the car or sleeping somewhere. So that is my confusion here.
Yeah. See, but even the what you call the destiny, the destiny, that was your past vasanas, past karmas. Whatever the past karmas that you had done, what you call Shubha karmas, okay, and that led you to Shubha vasanas and the satsangs, right? And you had that Shubha vasanas. That is the reason, like you said, instead of just dropping the child off and go away, but because of the vasanas that you continue to
Right.
study, and so that's leading you to the right path. So,
But Raghuji, if you do not have Shubha vasanas from the past, what happens then?
well, as most people, that you will continue to live in the worldly life and say, hey, there's nothing other than this.
So they go downhill then?
I
That is
wouldn't
that
call
is
it as a
that's
go
the-
down.
that-
There also, everything depends upon what kind of mixture of vasanas you have. Even if you might be a worldly person, but they say, hey, I want to do my good, honest work and earn. Okay. I want to do the honest work and achieve something for myself. Okay. Or you might have a what you call a demoniac attitude and say, hey, uh, I don't care what happens to the other people. I want to earn, I want to win, and I want to become rich, or I want to become famous. The means doesn't matter. So all those things are based on your own vasanas. And somewhere along the line, if that person had done some good karmas by accident, that exposes him to a guru, okay, or satsang, and then if he takes advantage of it and puts self-effort, hey, there is something here, this atmosphere gives me calmness of the mind, I want to pursue this one, and then that is his self-effort, and then he will say, hey, something good, hey, I want to pursue this one. So it is there, but most people, that's why in spiritual sadhanas you don't see too many people. And even in spiritual sadhana, those who want to just go onto the temple and just do the pranams and ask for whatever they want, so they are also spiritual people, but still interested in the worldly life. Somewhere along the line, then they will say, hey, I'm going to the temple and I'm praying for Bhagavan. Bhagavan has given me this good life and good wife and good wealth and good job. Okay, I want to know more about, hey, that Bhagavan. Okay, that vasana for Bhagavan puts him into self-effort. Then he starts studying the scriptures or attending the classes, and then slowly he's led into the spiritual path. So
Thank you, Raghuji.
the only way that I can think of, whatever the good karmas I might have done in the past that exposed me to go to the Hindu temple of Atlanta and get involved, and then got involved with the Chinmaya mission, and so like that. So it's all the whatever the past karmas and the grace of Bhagavan.
So it is the good karma that lead you to the Chinmaya mission, not your destiny. Is that what you're saying?
No, that good karmas is the destiny.
Okay.
Okay. Good karmas, what the result of the good karma, you can call it as destiny. Okay. So people call it as destiny without knowing that, oh, it was supposed to happen. But what is the destiny is nothing but your own past actions. Okay. And Nag read it, and Padmaja is here, not here. Raja read it. Rakesh Kumar, you want to read, sir?
Hari Om. The origin of sage Vashista. Sage Vashista continued, Brahman is the reality underlying all that exists. It is on the basis of this immutable existence that the illusion of causation is sustained by human mind. The mind sees everything in terms of causation. If there is an effect, there must be a cause. And if there's a cause, there must be an effect. This is the manner in which the mind continues to evolve its mentations. The cosmic law that regulates the objects of the world and conditions them to their distinct characteristics and attributes is sustained by the truth of divine self. It is the underlying substance that gives the quality of burning to fire, fluidity to water, movement to air, and vibration to the ether. This word conditioned by Niyati, cosmic law, often misinterpreted as destiny. It is not opposed to spiritual unfoldment of the soul. The word that evolves out of Maya is meant to aid every soul towards the spiritual unfoldment. Therefore, there is no need to exercise one's self effort to bring about alterations in the basic characteristics of the objects and the divine law. Operating through them, one's self effort must be directed towards Shriya, supreme blessedness in the form of liberation. Hari Om.
Want to comment?
Yeah, this talk about now the origin and talking the cause and effect, because there is a cause, there's effect is a cause. And he said there's some natural laws and you just can't change them because you can't, it's just like the fire is going to burn, water is going to, fluidity of the water will take the shape, and vibration, the ether. So they are all cosmic laws. And the people start to misinterpret it. They say there's destiny. There's not destiny, there's cosmic laws opposed to the spiritual unfoldment of the soul. So they say the Maya is meant to aid every soul towards the spiritual unfoldment. So to get the self-involvement, you work through it, and you know you can't change these basic laws. You work, and one self-effort must be directed towards Shriya, not the Priya, because that's going to take you to the right place. If you go to Priya, then you're going to word attachments, you now go nowhere. So once you go to Shriya, you are going towards your goal of liberation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The Shreya is something that looks painful in the beginning, but ultimately it leads to the ultimate good. Preya is something that gives you immediate pleasure of the senses, but leads to sorrow later. And so it's important to realize, know what is Shreya and what is Preya, and follow that. And so that's one thing I like this paragraph, the third paragraph, that it is a cosmic law of every soul to evolve and ultimately get self-realization. Whether it's going to take thousands of Brahmaji's lives or just 1,000 of just a human lives or just one life. Everything depends upon our own self-effort and the effect of the past self-effort. So if somebody realized their real nature, this life itself, that is because of the past self-effort that they had already achieved to the high level and they were able to reach the goal. And so everything depends upon that self-effort. So it's beautiful, very nice. Okay, and Ratnamma, you want to read, Amma?
Okay. I will relate to you the manner in which I received enlightenment from the teachings of the Creator. Listen to this account with attention. Your mind will become friendly to you by your self-effort. As long as the mind is unfriendly, the senses are steeped in desires for the object of the world. You must learn the art of conquering the senses and thus mastering the mind. O Rama, Brahman is the substratum of this vast universe. From that Brahman, there arose the divine Vishnu, the sustaining aspect of God in the form of the cosmic self. This emanation was due to the operation of Maya, cosmic illusion.
Go ahead and read the next paragraph too.
From the lotus of the heart of the divine Vishnu, there arose the four-faced Brahma, the creator. This lotus from which Brahma emerged is, in fact, the essence of the cosmos. Its petals are the directions, the Sumeru mountains are the pollen grains of the lotus. In brief, the entire universe is figuratively represented as the unfolding lotus of the divine self.
Yeah, want to comment?
Okay, now, sage Vashista is going to tell how he received the enlightenment from the creator, that is Brahmaji. And then he says mind is the one that really makes it or breaks it. We all know that. As the mind is, so is our work. If the mind is good and the effort you put, it will always lead you to the good actions and good result. The bad mind leads to the bad things. Here, he says, Brahman is the substratum of this vast universe. He tells to Rama. And this Brahman is the one everything arose, that the divine Vishnu. And from Vishnu, he's the cosmic self. And also it is the cosmic illusion. From the lotus of the heart, the divine Vishnu, there arose and the four-faced Brahma. That is how Brahma, the creator, was also came from the lotus of his Vishnus. We all have seen that picture everywhere. This lotus from which Brahma emerged is in fact the essence of the cosmos. Its petals are the direction, the Sumeru mountains are the pollen grains of the lotus. That is how everything created. In brief, the entire universe is represented as the unfolding lotus of the divine self. Everything is the whole cosmos. Everything is Brahman, which is Hari Om.
Very nice. So you can see how the world arises in a cosmic level is given, and then the importance of our own mind. Like the Bhagavan Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, Uddareyad Atmanatmanam Natmanam Avasadayet. One should lift oneself by oneself, and not one should let oneself down. Sarveshji, you want to continue, sir?
Raghuji, one question on that. What is that? It's petals are the directions. What does that mean?
It's like I didn't say anything, but what I see is that everything is symbolic. From the heart of Vishnu came Brahmaji, okay, and Brahmaji was sitting on a lotus, and the lotus was has petals, and like that. All this is symbolic. It's not like suddenly Vishnu, like we see in. Lying in Vaikunta on the ocean of milk and all that, all of them is symbolic.
Understood. But, yeah, I understood that, Rajaji. But why that it petals are the directions? And that is that particular one is I couldn't really comprehend that, understand that.
I don't know. I don't have any more explanation. Somebody else has anything to add?
Question. Guruji, I have one more thing.
Yes,
because
sir.
Here it says Vishnu. So we have to take Ishvara and Vishnu are both the same, because all the Vedic things they talk about, from Brahman came the Vishnu with the,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to try to equate, you are right.
Okay, this is what we actually discussed, I think, Sunday's class, right? I think Rajarakdi Garu was actually asking about Vishnu was on the top or something.
Yeah. So actually, I was reading this another book, Durga Saptasati, something like that. There, Durga is the supreme Ishvara or Brahman. Okay, and each cosmos has Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Okay. So there are like little children for her, so, like that. And so each Purana gives it in different names. But according to Vedanta, like you said, Brahman, from Brahman came the Ishvara, from Ishvara came the Hiranyagarbha, from Hiranyagarbha came the Virat Swarupa. And they really don't have any physical forms, but the whole universe of manifested universe that we see is nothing but that the Virat Swarupa. Very good.
I think in Tamil Nadu it says that Murugan, right? Subramanian has got six head, right? That means it is actually considered as the intelligent, and Vinayagar is actually the gunas, okay, all your senses, using your intelligence, control your sense. Then it will go to next is Parvati Devi, that is actually Shakti or Prakriti. You kind of control the Prakriti, then you will reach Paramashivan. So that is actually one order. That is also one explanation I read somewhere.
Good. So yeah, thank you. Sarveshji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, sir.
However, the absolute cessation of misery is not possible without the attainment of wisdom. Therefore, Brahma wanted to create the boat of wisdom, by the help of which the souls might cross the ocean of the world process. So he planned to create the scripture of wisdom. By his mental will, Brahma projected a boy after his own image, and the boy recognized him as his divine father. That boy was myself, sage Vashista. I believe that refers to our own self. The divine father welcomed me with great love and said, "O son, just as a cloud crosses the full moon, a taint of ignorance will enter into your mind for a little while, so that I may enlighten you with the knowledge of the scriptures. The teachings that I will give you will become a powerful boat for human beings to cross the ocean of the world process."
Yeah, beautiful.
So here Brahma's wanted to create the wisdom for our sake to cross the ocean of this life and ignorance. And here he says that Brahma projected a boy in his own image, and that boy was myself, Vashista. It could be literally the same, or we could say that Vashista meant the self in everybody. And then he says that there's the ignorance, just like the cloud is crossing the full moon. And to eliminate or cross over that cloud, the teachings of Vedas. Here, I think the Vedas come in, where we learned that Brahma taught Vedas according to our Purana scriptures.
Yeah. So, various places, various children are given. Like in the Mundakopanishad, you see that Brahma created his first son, and I forget his name, and that he gave that knowledge to him. But here it's given to his first son is the Vashista, and so any coming from gold is gold, and so the Vashista should have had all the knowledge when he came out, but here it says that Bhagavan created a little cloud of ignorance and then gave him all the knowledge for him to contemplate, and that knowledge is the Vedas. So, very nice. And Shobhanama here today. Siri Shama not here. Sudhirji, you want to read, sir?
Yes, sure, Vijay. Immediately I was affected by ignorance. I became miserable and afflicted with grief. I reflected. Whence has this evil of the world process developed in my consciousness? So engrossed was I in this reflection that I did not perform any function. The divine Brahma asked, O son, why are you miserable? Tell me the cause of your misery. I will show you the way to the cessation of your grief. At this I asked, O divine Father, how did this world arise in the consciousness of the soul? How can I destroy it? Great Brahma expounded the immortal teaching of wisdom. By the help of those teachings, I discovered my essential nature and enjoyed supreme bliss. Here, Sage Vasishtha is just telling that I think earlier Brahma was actually, I think, even giving a clue saying that a taint of ignorance actually entered into Sage Vasishtha's mind, and that actually created ignorance in his, and so he is actually just immersed into the world process. So then Sage Vasishtha is actually got confused and asking how can it happen. So then Brahma was actually asking why you are miserable. Then he's actually giving the what is the reason for the misery. Then he was actually, that is actually that discussion between father and son is actually happening. Why the misery? He's actually wondering how he's actually got this ignorance in his mind, right? And then he's actually giving that knowledge, and with that, I think there we had to put that self-effort, and he learned that with the help of those teachings, he discovered his essential nature, that he is Brahman and enjoyed the supreme bliss.
Very good. So, Veena, you want to read?
Hari Om Raghuji.
Hari Om.
Concluding his teachings, Brahma said, O Vasishtha, I inflicted you with ignorance for the purpose of creating the scripture of wisdom. Now you must proceed to the plane of the earth and become the preceptor of wisdom for the aspiring mortals. O Rama, thus commanded by Brahma, I live in this world to guide the spiritual aspirants on the path of liberation. As long as aspirants dwell on this earth, so long will I abide in the self. I have nothing to gain from this world. I obey the commands of Creator without being tainted by ignorance and egoistic vision.
You want to comment on this? Then we will read the rest of it.
So Brahma said he did on purpose so that he can give the scripture of wisdom, which I think is the Vedas. And with those wisdom and he became the preceptor or the teacher for the mortals or human beings. And he thus said, I will continue to do this for the mortals because I have nothing to gain, nothing to lose, but I have to obey the command of the Creator and without any ignorance and egoistic vision.
Right. Yeah. As the story goes, that having been born out of Brahmaji, and then the Sun dynasty or Ikshvaku dynasty came, and for all those kings up to Lord Rama's time, that this Vashista Rishi was the guru for all the kings in that dynasty. So being born out of Brahmaji, that he was not like a human having a life for about 100 years or 200 years, but he lived all along as a preceptor for all those kings of the Sun dynasty. So that's why he became the guru of Lord Rama also. Okay, now you want to read the rest of it, Amma? The rest of it is in italics. That is the commentary by the Swami Jyotirmanandaji.
Adopting himself as an example, sage Vashista gives a figurative parable explaining the facts that wisdom proceeds from the divine self. It is not sustained by the intellectual functions of the mind. Rather, it is revealed by intuition. Every human being is a child of divine creator. However, he is with ignorance for a short time. The state of ignorance does not belong to the soul. Even the millions of incarnations in the world process are, in fact, a deviation from the divine truth only for a short while. Everyone is essentially the divine self, thus showing the authenticity of his spiritual teachings. Sage Vasisht begins to enlighten Rama by presenting the essence of all scriptures. So, as you said in the previous comment, that everybody eventually will be enlightened, will merge with the divinity. So, every soul is divine. It could be matter of time. It may take longer for some and shorter time for them, but everybody is created divine by the Creator.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that ignorance does not belong to the soul. That is a spurious external anatma. So, I like this one. Even the millions of incarnations the world process are in fact just a deviation from the divine truth, just a short while. It might look like a long time, like especially when we are suffering, it looks like a long time, but if you really look at it, it is a short. And the same way that you might have dreamt only for a few minutes, but you might have dreamt as if that the whole life, you had gone through the whole life. Okay. And so the time is just a illusory thing. So very good. So we will go to the next one. Vishwanathan is here today. No. So we will go to is Akilamma here today? No?
No, Raghuji, he is not feeling well.
Okay. Anjaneyulu, sir.
Hari Om Raghuji. Section 11, the descent of spiritual wisdom. Sri Rama asked, O sage, how did the Creator decide to reveal the path of wisdom for the world of mortals? Please explain this to me in detail. Sri Vashista responded, in this beginningless samsara world process, the rising of the Creator is like a wave in the ocean. Brahma's mind contains the impressions of his previous creation, Having a deep insight into the miseries that arise out of ignorance, Brahma willed to manifest the path of wisdom for the leading the souls from darkness to light. Just as he sent me to the mortal world, he also sent other great sages such as Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara, Narada, and others to teach human beings according to the different stages of evolution. Shall I continue, Raghuji?
I think you read only two.
Yeah, the spiritual knowledge was first prevalent among the kings who lived under the guidance of the sages. Therefore, this knowledge is described as Raja Vidya, the royal knowledge. It is also termed as Raja Guhya, the royal secret. Later, the kings became identified with their bodies and lost their insight into the truths of the self. Therefore, there is a great need to propagate this wisdom through the medium of your qualified personality. Amazing. So, how the Guru Parampara, how the from the Brahmaji onwards, the dharma and the wisdom is propagated. It is a lineage and all is given. Like in Vedas also, we say that we are Amruta Pushya, Amruta Putra, right? That's what the Vedas and all the Upanishads proclaim, that you are nothing but Amruta Putra.
Yeah.
So that's what, this is a great to relate our, lineage to the Brahmaji and all. Amazing.
Yeah. So that's, if you think of that, then naturally all our ignorant thoughts or inauspicious thoughts should go away. Amrita Putras, not just human beings or like an animal. So.
And this chapter also covered Bhagavad Gita's Rajavidya, Rajaguhya.
Yeah, ninth chapter, right.
Yeah, so amazing. That it says that you are Brahman, you are Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, and also
right.
that royal secret in the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, amazing.
So it's called royal because it was given to the kings, starting with Ikshvaku, Manu, and all that. So.
And also these other sages are mentioned, Raghuji. Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara, Narada.
Right.
Different in the Puranas, they come in, appear, and they, for example, Narada Maharishi, I mean, he guides so many aspirants.
Right.
Like, Dhruva and Prahlada and many seekers of wisdom.
Right. Yeah. Ashwin, you want to continue, sir?
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
O Rama, most people develop rajas, vairagya, dispassion that arises by perceiving pain in the objects of the world. This perception of pain is rajasic in nature. Therefore, such dispassion is conditional and is sustained by a cause in this world. But you have developed an unconditional form of vairagya. Your dispassion is sattvic, pure. Who does not develop disgust towards filthy objects? But real dispassion is that which arises due to discrimination. They are the great souls who develop dispassion due to the purity of their minds. Such souls are adorned with a pure intellect. Those who are identified with their bodies and are bound to their desires are like worms and insects in this world process. Hari Om.
Comment?
Yeah, so here it is beautifully explained. There are two types of dispassion. One, dispassion or vairagya that is caused because of certain sufferings or pain that we go through in this world process, right? So we are going through a tough time, we are going through a pain, and that leads to some kind of dispassion. But that dispassion is temporary. As the situation changes, that dispassion will also go away. The other kind of dispassion is that which you've developed with knowledge, with discrimination. So that dispassion is sattvic in nature. And those people who have such sattvic vairagya, they are the great souls and very rare to find. It leads to purity of their mind.
Yeah.
So that's being conveyed over here.
Yeah, beautiful. So you can see even Vairagya is of two kinds. The one with the Sattvic is one, Lord Rama's. So you can say Lord Rama didn't develop Vairagya because he was suffering from something, but he developed in spite of all the good things and royal pleasures that he was exposed to, that he had developed complete Vairagya to all the pleasures and power and good company, all those things it didn't bother, didn't affect him favorably. He said, "No, all this is temporary. All this comes and goes. I am not interested until I know my real nature." So that was the real sattvic vairagya. Beautiful. Dr. Noli garu.
Yes, sir. They are the great souls who develop dispassion.
No, next one. Wise men.
Oh, okay. Wise men cross the ocean of the world process on the raft of the wisdom. Without wisdom, the miseries of the world continue to afflict the heart of a person for a long time. Without the method of wisdom, one cannot endure the pains of the opposites with which the world abounds. I'm sorry, with the pairs of opposites. Just as straws are consumed by fire, so the ignorant are consumed by the fire of grief at every step. But a forest that is drenched in rain cannot be burnt by fire. In the same way, a wise man who is filled with the nectarine waters of wisdom cannot be destroyed by the fires of the world process. A sage with enlightenment is not affected by the cyclones and hurricanes of the world process. He is like the kalpaka tree, mystic tree, rooted in the immutable self. So, in the first para, he was talking about the wisdom. Without the wisdom, there is all the whole world process is afflicted with the, miseries.
Yeah.
And in the second para, he was comparing the, how the wisdom works, If you don't have that wisdom, like, like the straw gets consumed by the fire, but if it is in the forest that drenched with rain, the fire cannot do much. And it's also a sage with enlightenment is not affected by the cyclones of the world process, where, he is like a kalpaka tree.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can say it's not that the wise person is not affected by the world process, is not what you call exposed to the world process, but because of his equanimity, he doesn't get affected by the pairs of opposites. He gets exposed the same way as any other person, but he faces everything knowing the reality that all this is comes and goes. Just like Lord Krishna tells Arjuna in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, hey, all these are temporary, just bear them. So why? Because your real nature is that Atman, you're not this individual body. So, very nice. Dinesh ji, you want to continue?
An aspirant desirous of attaining knowledge must approach a sage who has a purified intellect in order to receive instructions on the path of wisdom. When taught by an unqualified teacher, the spiritual teachings do not settle into one's mind. O Rama, you are the best among the inquirers, and I am well versed in the art of teaching the truths of the scriptures. Listen to my instructions, and having understood their meanings, abide by them. You are endowed with the qualities of compassion, generosity, dispassion, and insight. The teachings will settle in your heart just as any color dye settles in a white cloth. So here says Vashist, he's really appreciating his student in the form of Sri Rama and highlighting his qualities, that he's the perfect student to gain this knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
So
you are the best among the inquirers. Why? Because he himself has developed that vairagya to the world and he's asking for the guru for help. So that's what we all need to do, that approach a realized master. In the absence of realized master, that you continue to do the efforts, and just like what we are doing, reading the scriptures written by the wise master, realized masters. But this one, even the translation is done by a realized master like Jyotirmandaji. Okay. And so you can see his influence or input of realization is in here. Same way, all the commentaries that we read about from Chinmayana Swamiji, Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita come from his own personal experience also, not just the book knowledge. So, very nice. Okay, and Karpagam, you want to continue, Amma?
The mind is like a monkey on the tree of the world process. The monkey must be controlled if one would listen to the teachings pertaining to the divine self. An aspirant must keep himself at a distance from those who are devoid of discrimination and are immersed in evil, and he must take recourse to good association. Association with the wise gives rise to discrimination, viveka. Enjoyment and release, these are the fruits of the tree of discrimination. There are 4 gatekeepers at the palace of liberation: Shama, serenity; Vichar, reflection; Santosh, contentment; and Satsanga, good association.
Comment?
But we have to control our mind. Mind is like a monkey. When we control and associate with good people, then we will develop viveka and vairagya.
Yeah. Yeah. Just as satsanga leads you to spiritual goal, the dussanga continues to draw you into the world process. Dussanga doesn't necessarily mean very, very bad people. Even good people who are just interested in only worldly things. Okay. Hey, I want to achieve this one. I want to achieve that one. I want to have a good married life, and I want to have this job, a job. I want to discover. I want to make more money. All this is dussanga for a spiritual person. But association with the wise people leads to discrimination, because you listen to them, and then otherwise, then you think, hey, you are this body. Only from the listening to the guru about the scriptural knowledge, hey, you are not this body, you are that pure Atman. And then he explains to you why you are this Atman, why you are not the body. And that leads to that Viveka. And then naturally, Viveka leads to the Vairagya, that Shama, the serenity. And then you develop more and more, which are reflection. And then you develop contentment to the worldly things. Hey, enough is enough. Okay? just whatever that is there to sustain this body, to life, for my spiritual sadhana, that is enough. Okay. And then you continue to pursue the satsang, and that satsang continue to lead to, just like Lord Krishna, Shankaracharya ji says in Bhajagovindam, satsangatve nisangatvam. So it draws you away from the worldly association. Nisangatve nischalatatvam. Your mind becomes attached to your spiritual knowledge. It's beautiful commentary. So
Raghuji, on that, see, satsangatve means, to be in a good, the company of people who is actually involved in this, right? Because it's not the all other, there are a lot of good people are there in this world, but if you really wanted people who is actually going through say, spiritual, or Upanishads, and that is actually key, right?
Right, exactly. I thought that's what I said just a couple of minutes ago. Here, satsanga means those who are interested in the spiritual path, not good people, but they are interested still in the worldly life. They might be dharmic, okay, but they still want to have a good family life, and they want to achieve material things in the world, wealth, name, fame, but they're really not interested in spiritual life. That is also dussanga, because that will draw you away from the spiritual path.
Okay.
Very good, Manoma. You cannot unmute yourself.
What? You talking to me?
You talked, we couldn't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Now
Now
we
we can hear you.
Before,
There was some brief break.
brief moment that we couldn't hear you, so I
I'm
had no
sorry.
idea what you were saying.
Okay. Yeah, what all I was saying was that even dussanga doesn't necessarily mean bad people. Dussanga here means those who are interested in the worldly vasanas, not the shubha vasanas for spiritual realization. The spiritual, that interest in shubha vasana for spiritual goal leads to shama, vichara, santosha, and satsanga. And Swamiji is going to start elaborating each one in a chapter coming up. So, okay. So you want to read, Manoma, the next 3 paragraphs?
Okay. All these must be pursued with effort. All these, he's talking about those 4 gatekeepers just now.
Correct.
Karpagam read and we discussed. If one cannot follow all 4, then he must practice only 3 from these. If this is difficult, he should follow any 2. And even if he were to follow only one of them, these 4, the other 3 will join him as he advances. A man with discrimination is like the effulgent sun, while a man who is devoid of discrimination is like a frosty night. Therefore, O Rama, cultivate the virtue of discrimination and be endowed with all the great qualities that arise out of a discriminative intellect. Study of scriptures, listening to their expositions, reflecting upon their implications, and meditating upon the self. These are the methods of developing prajna, intuitive knowledge. An aspirant must amass the wealth of prajna in order to destroy ignorance.
Yeah.
So, in these 3, pretty much saying in the first one, those 4 gatekeepers, try to pursue them with effort. But if you cannot do 4, do 3, then two, then one. Even if you pursue one, the other three will join you, and you can advance in them. And the next one talking about mainly the discrimination, how it's a effulgent sun, and it is very important to cultivate the virtue of discrimination, so that all the great qualities arise from the discriminative intellect.
Yeah.
And the third one talking about study of the scriptures and how they help you to reflect and upon their implications and meditate upon the self. So all these methods will lead you to intuitive knowledge, the prajna. That's what talking about.
Yeah. So we all know in the sadhana chatushtaya sampannata, the first one is viveka. That is discrimination between the real and the unreal. And as continue to study the scriptures, then you get the knowledge. Then even that viveka and vairagya and the shatka sampatti, all of them become more and more strong. And as sadhana chatushtaya sampannata becomes perfect, the knowledge that the prajna will flower in our heart automatically. Beautiful. Okay. Manoj, you want to finish, sir? Manoj?
Yeah. Okay. This poisonous tree of the world process is the abode of all miseries. It deludes those who have no discriminations and afflicted with ignorance. One who is a know with a subtle intellect that can reason, analyze, and understand the secret of the scripture is called Purusha, a true human being. You are indeed a true aspirant endowed with all the great qualities. You will realize the self as if it were the shining moon in a cloudless sky. You want to read one more paragraph? What do you want to do, Raghu?
No, that is the next section. So let's stop here.
Let's just start. Okay. So what he is talking about is this is when you have some delusion start, it's a kind of a process of miseries. And these are the people who have no power of discriminations and they have lots of ignorance. But these people can reason, people can analyze, and study the secret of the scripture called Purusha. That's a true human being.
Yeah.
And all these great qualities, you will realize the self, and just like a shining moon and a cloudless sky. Hariyo.
Yeah. So a real human being is one who has discrimination, uses his discrimination to realize the self. Otherwise, we are no different from any other animal because we continue to, animals live for the body and pleasure, and if you continue to live for bodily pleasures, we are no different from animals. And so only a human being can become divine, and we should take advantage of it. So anybody want to add a last word of wisdom?
So in Tamil, in Tirukural, we have a saying that says, Deivathal Ahadeninam Muyarchi Tannai Varutha Kolitarum, meaning even if God cannot give you, if you put your effort, you will definitely be rewarded. I think he was hinting at the self-effort.
Self-effort. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Appreciate that. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Patrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om.
Hari Om, everybody.
Dinesh, would you do the summary next class?
Yes, I will do it.
Okay, very good. So thank you
Hari
all.
Om.
Hari Om, brother. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Darshan.